Our most recent expedition to the Whisperfrost Frontier has certainly proved invaluable. Besides obtaining a plethora of cobalt and iron for our armory, with ore found both above and underground, we also learned a tremendous amount about these lands themselves. From how massive spiral trees are growing and thriving underground, to even discovering what appeared to be the remnants of creatures long frozen in the ice. And how deep down below, the melted ice has started to submerge huge caverns with ancient structures, as the heat and cold of the lands seem to have found an equilibrium. But all of that pales in comparison to the knowledge we now have of the existence of the Outlanders and their supposed link to the Void. Whether or not these mysterious clans have anything to do with the rising threat of creatures from the Void on Orbis remains to be determined, but one thing is for certain. When danger comes knocking, we must be prepared. The time has come to raise the guard and up our defense. Hello everyone and welcome back to Hytale. Update number 4 at the time of recording, where today our goal is to build ourselves a proper guard tower. But before we get around to constructing that, we first need to deal with the spoils of exploration ever since the end of the last episode. And likewise do I have a little update in regards to our tree farm. But spoils of adventure first. And let me tell you, I don't think the north has any more ore remaining at this point in time. I mean, at least not the easy to find stuff. We have got ourselves a ton of iron ore from just casual exploration, a little bit of silver ore from the mountaintops, and a fair bit of gold, but there is still so much more gold just lying underneath the surface of the water. Just stuck in the ground. It's very easy to get to. So if we ever need more gold, to the north we go. And surprisingly enough, I did find a little bit of thorium ore, just hidden, extremely rare, but apparently thus you can get thorium up in zone 3 of the Whisperfrost Frontier, so curious. But a little bit of copper ore, we don't exactly need this all that much anymore at this point in time, but still, always handy to have. And then of course the main thing we were after, cobalt galore. We won't be without for a while, and we will certainly have more than enough to upgrade our armor entirely to cobalt, so that should be fine as well. We also stumbled upon some poisoned logs in random treasure chests, which is currently, I believe, one of the only logs you can't grow a tree for, so rather intriguing. We picked a few bones from the skeletons that we found underground, we picked up some stuff from the spiral tree that was growing underground. Unsure if this will be used for anything in the future, but I picked a few up anyway. And some greater health potions. These will, at this point in time, be unable for us to be crafted because we lack the resource and the upgraded potion workbench, so happy to have them anyway. And other than that, shale cobble and slate cobble are two new bricks basically that allows us to make a lot of other stuff with using the builder's workbench. That was the name, right? Builder's workbench? Yeah, builder's workbench. I can best show it. This is the stuff you're always on the lookout for, just to see what kind of stuff is actually new that you find with all the stuff that you basically explore all the way up in the north and the south and whatever. It's always fun to have new possibilities to use. We won't be using it today, but it gives options for the future for sure, if we ever feel creative enough. So yeah, in that regard, I'm just going to pick a lot of this cobalt up for now, and we basically set the furnace to work because I want that full blue armor. Even though I prefer my green, full blue always is at least interesting to at least explore a little bit. So, make a furnace, do your thing. I said, do your thing. There we go. Thank you very much. And while that furnace is smelting up all that ore in the meantime, let's take a quick look at our tree farm, because as I mentioned at the end of the last episode, because of update 4 adding a whole lot of new trees to the game that we can now grow, Some stuff has certainly needed to change because our previous 5x5 tree cup design, it didn't exactly function for all the trees. So what we did is we kept the 5 deep design, but we instead went all the way towards a 7x7. So still mostly kept the same look that we had before, but the cups are just a little bit bigger as of right now. It's not exactly perfect, there's still some trees that will not fully grow properly, but that might also be a case of some stuff just being glitched because of update 4. Like, for example, the oak trees. I don't know what is wrong with them at this point in time, but they very often won't grow larger than this one, so honestly, not too sure, that is just early access in general. But what I've got over here, except for this little hole here, with an apple tree that doesn't yet want to grow, an apple tree right over here, I have got 10 trees in total, 10 different ones, each one dealing basically with a different wood type. I did some research in regards to what trees would work best for this farm and what would give me the most logs in the long run. And although my calculations could be completely wrong, I figured that the banyan trees are perfect for softwood as they give quite a lot, camphor for light woods, ash saplings of course for hardwood with I think the ash tree is actually growing normally at this point in time. I think that's my ash tree right here right now. I previously always used a plus pattern where I had another piece of dirt on this side, and the other side, which would allow it to grow without breaking down entirely. I think that got fixed, but I'm not entirely sure, so testing phase right here. Meanwhile, we have got the maple tree for redwood, surprisingly enough. I figured this one would actually grow quicker and also give you a whole lot more logs in the long run, so certainly worth it. The cedar tree is currently the only one that we have for dark wood, and we need to grow that too high. So, interestingly enough, it still works, but it's not exactly perfect. Again, a situation of update 4 possibly messing stuff up. I don't think the cedar tree will grow larger than it is currently. Whereas in the past it certainly did, so if we need more cedar logs right now, the answer is just go north and just chop some trees down there. But hey, I want to have them all in my farm if possible, and I'm doing it that way. After that, we have got the amber sapling for golden woods axis. Very nice. There is a small issue with this one as well, with it not fully growing properly or leaving some logs and leaves up in the air after you chop it down, but again, early access. We have the bottle tree for dry wood, the jungle sapling for green wood, a fire sapling, surprisingly enough, for black wood, which actually turns into a very interesting burning tree. Thank God for fire spread not yet being a proper thing. And we have got the petrified pine tree for deadwood, and that will thus give us access to every single plank type that we require. And of course I had the whole situation of all the chests with all the different saplings for every single tree, where I'm slowly growing as much as I can of each, so that if I ever need a log for something, I will have access to that specific log if I require it for decorating. In general though, moving on to my tree testing world for a little bit, where I was able to thus figure out that, for example, the gumboa tree, in the 5x5 it would just grow into this, and surprisingly enough the sapling would currently still remain, which is rather odd, but yeah, it just didn't grow into the tree it possibly could grow into. We will never technically be able to grow this, and also that will be a complete disaster for all the ground underneath. So a smaller tree will have to suffice, and that is why I moved over towards the 7x7 design. It works. It's not the greatest for everything, because even so at certain points there are still some issues in regards to not being able to grow the trees that you want to grow. Some that could really grow a whole lot bigger, for example. I think this is the sallow tree? No, the amber tree. It is able to grow massive in the wild like this, which is truly a beautiful tree. But when you keep it inside of the 5 or the 7x7 design here, it remains to be a little bit smaller, and this is also one that's this was the one that had the leaves just remaining up in the air at this point in time. Again, that is very surely going to be fixed very soon in the future, I hope. I don't know what happens in pre-release updates number 5 and whatnot. I don't really mess around with the pre-releases, so hopefully stuff gets fixed in the future. And bamboo tree doesn't really want to grow just yet, unfortunately. And the other trees all doing their thing as much as possible. It should all, as a result, hopefully be fine with the 7x7 design. And it also actually, for example, with this tree, I think for the storm bark? Yeah, storm bark. In the 5x5, nice and small, but again, it is able to grow a whole lot bigger, and the 7x7 allows that. And likewise, because this is one of the special trees, currently it doesn't exactly have a group in regards to what the logs themselves can be turned into. But again, future update potential. But this one also supplies a nice amount of blue moss, which again, very interesting. The sallow tree here, no, willow sapling, it's an interesting one because it also is capable of giving the wind willow fruit, the same that we saw with the spiral tree fruit in the main game. But only if you allow it to grow to a larger size, which in this case requires you to build it 4 high from this point onwards in order to be able to reach this height. To make sure that it doesn't actually grow outside of your tree cup. And then there should be some, I think, some fruits here and there. They would glow. They're rather hard to see and find at least. Ah, there we go. There is one. Really blending in well with the rest of the tree. As for the Azure tree, we need these logs for building the teleporters, but we also can grow these trees now to get Azure fruit and some extra blue moss. So in that regard, build a few of these, and you've got yourself Azure fruit as well for, I believe, any kind of potion crafting you require. Meanwhile, the wild wisteria tree is also an intriguing one. It's classified as goldenwood right now, and we have the amber tree for goldenwood logs if we need them. But this tree itself can be rather intriguing too, because, okay, our 7x7 cup design and just growing it on the same height doesn't give all that many logs. If you grow it larger, however, the tree itself grows larger and you get this kind of stuff happening. This will just grow its roots outside of the cup, meaning it would ruin the entire environment around our tree cups. So, not perfect. And likewise, the bigger you grow it, there's a chance for it to appear, well, with pink crystals inside of it. And the problem with those pink crystals is the fact that, okay, you cut down the entire tree, wonderful. You still are gonna have to pillar up all the way in order to break that down. It's not perfect, but it's a way to get pink crystals, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff you find out when experimenting with trees. And over here, this is what the burning tree, the fire sapling, looks like. Fully grown. Interesting logs as well. But yeah, honestly, seeing a tree on fire like this, the first time I grew it, I was like, oh god, please don't let this ever spread fire, because that is going to ruin the entire forest. But yeah, that is most of the trees and some of their quirks that they've got going on, which very interesting indeed. There is still some issues, as what I mentioned before, with some of the normal trees that we have got growing. The beech tree just doesn't want to grow larger than this as of right now. The birch also proving to be a little bit tricky at times with not wanting to grow normally like this. Again, early access shenanigans, hopefully stuff gets fixed in the future. No clue what's going on. The oak tree just really does not want to grow. It's very strange. Cedar doesn't want to grow as large as it previously did. It's weirdness in general, but nothing we can't overcome. But yeah, that is all the tree business going on. The reason why we went over to the 7x7 design and showing that for most trees at least, it definitely works out in our favor. But with all of that rambling, hopefully our furnaces should have done a fair little bit of smelting. Yeah, that will definitely for now give us enough cobalt ore in order to upgrade all of our armor. Thank you very much. And we had a cuirass already, meaning all we need is 1 cobalt helm, a pair of gauntlets, some cobalt greaves, and although it probably won't really be required, I like to complete the set at this point in time. We've got ourselves a cobalt shield. And that results in us looking very shiny in blue. I still feel like the helm is kind of cramped, but I like the fact that you can toggle the armor visibility, but I still prefer to keep just the armor on. I mean, how often do you look at yourself in this game like this? I'm not one who's playing all the way in third person this way. It's not my kind of style, so... When you're playing with multiple people, maybe that is a point in time where you do really make use of this. But for now, yeah, full armor, it is. But even though we may be looking rather snazzy, I don't have a sword actually. Let's keep the green sword. I mean, what does the sword actually do? Is it also going to give the whole increased signature attack damage by 6% or a little bit percent? I'm not too sure. I don't even know if the sword itself gives any poison resistance, which the thorium gave. So, we'll stick with green sword to keep a little bit of green in our life. But yeah, looking rather snazzy. We are lacking, however, a guard tower. So, I'd say, let's gather up some resources. And let's get building. Now, the problem with building and designing something like a guard tower is the fact that I don't exactly recall ever having built one on my own. And the ones that I did build in the past were definitely just from a YouTube tutorial, because I'm not all that creative. So when I first started to design my idea for what I wanted with a guard tower, well, it would work. But was I really happy with this? Not exactly. I mean, it can work. But it just wasn't it. So I started from scratch and figured, let's start with the basics. Picking a wood type, now that we had access to so many different ones, it felt at one point in time very freeing, because there was so much possible, but... And it constantly was the question, okay, I've already been using a whole lot of oak logs over here inside of the wall itself, so oak logs could work in that regard, but maybe I'd want beech logs, but no, beech logs were already used in most of my previous builds. Ash logs didn't look all that great in the design itself, and with all the options, I basically went, you know what, no, the options that I have, oak definitely looks better. So I started this all with just saying, okay, we need a big pillar. And big it would most certainly become. I mean, if this is the height where you're standing, you should have a pretty decent view of the entire surrounding area. Were it not for the fact that we've got a whole lot of trees going on, but still, for a guard tower, in comparison to all the rest of our entire base, I was kind of happy with this height. I could have gone lower, but this just, honestly, felt right. Now, I will say that working this high is rather precarious. I mean, in creative mode, I could just fly around and do whatever the hell I wanted. So this is most definitely feeling quite a little bit different, but it will work out just fine. We've got this at the floor at 15 blocks high with 5 extra. That should hopefully give us all that we want in this regard. So here we've got the lookout platform exactly the way that we want it. And you know what, maybe I just want to have a little bit of water right here in the middle while I'm still up here. So, you know what, this will all be fine. Now, interestingly, redwood trees are currently no longer considered as redwood trees in regards to the logs, because they transfer into softwood planks. Not sure if that's how it goes, but thank God for having the maple trees at this point in time. We need some redwood planks for step number 2. With update number 4 as well, we can now turn logs like this into stair blocks and also the slabs, which actually works amazingly for this build because, yeah, this is just 4 little sticks that doesn't exactly look all that sturdy, so just add a little bit of feet to this place and everything will look just that little bit better, or at least that was my general hope. And just like that, Surely it will be able to keep up all this weight. Surely. But yeah, just having it like this with nothing in between, it needed a little bit more structure to it. So that is where I figured, to make something stronger in real life, you always work with triangles, right? Well, we can certainly make that work. All we need is a little bit of upside down stair magic. And I have got no clue how I'm going to build this without constantly falling, so let me grab a little bit of dirt. I'm not used to working with heights. And thinking about this entire cross-beam section, it would have to link up nicely. So I was like, okay, if we do it like this, by using these half slabs, seriously, half slabs are such an amazing thing. I am just surprised that Minecraft still hasn't added those yet. Like, we've got shelves these days, but it's just not the same. But doing it like this just works absolutely amazing. And because we right here reach a middle point, if we do this, we add a little bit of our oak logs back into the fray, and we've got ourselves a middle portion. And doing it like this, and using that on the other side as well, we can just pull this entire thing through to the other side. And this as well would give just so much needed structure to our entire build. Left to right, everything working out just fine. And building onwards from here, basically just in reverse, the way that we did this before. And you will surely end up with something relatively sturdy. Or at least that will be the hope. And if we take a look at that from a distance while the sun is slowly setting, which means quick sleep gonna be required very soon, that by itself hopefully gives a little bit of more of that feeling of, yeah, whatever is going to be on top of there is going to be very structurally sound. And just like that, on all four sides, we have got ourselves our structural beams and whatnot. However, this was then the stage where I was thinking, okay, I can leave it like this, leave it nice and open, and we have like something of just a rope ladder or just a normal ladder or something on the outside with which you could just climb upwards towards the top watching platform. That could work very nicely. I mean, even from the outside like this, it works, but I don't know, it felt like a little bit too open, and I know that the wall that we've got going on here is a little bit rudimentary and more crude. It's not exactly something you can walk over with guards patrolling and whatnot, so maybe we do require a little bit more sturdiness, which meant, yeah, we need to fill this in with a little bit more brick. The question then, however, became, how high up do we go with the brick? I mean, if we fill this entire thing all the way to the brim with these bricks, might it be a little bit too protective? It's all the little things you start thinking of at that point in time. Maybe I was overthinking it, but I figured, okay, if we increase the brick height all the way up to here, and then we can of course play around a little bit with, for example, this, add a little bit more of a pattern to the place. If we leave it like that, and we fill the rest of the top up instead with softwood planks, that could perhaps work. So back up the tower we go, filling it all up nicely. And the best part is, because if this is the inside, by doing it like this, you won't actually see the brick on the outside. You won't really feel the difference from brick to planks all that badly. It is just a normal straight line, but it's not that badly in the long grand scheme of things. And looking at it from the outside, yeah, it will still require a little bit of detailing later in the later stages of this build, but for the time being it certainly works. But maybe we need to focus a little bit more on what's going on all the way at the top. Getting up there, however, is kind of becoming increasingly difficult and also a little bit ugly, truth be told. it doesn't really give the vibe I wanted. So how about get rid of this water and we do this the manual way, starting with the fact that these cross beams over here, they feel a little bit too thick, I would say. So I was thinking, what if we add a cobblestone beam on the inside of each and every one of these, and then have a wall protrude from that, where they all link up in the middle, because thanks to update number 4, walls now connect. That, although it isn't the best thing, it does give just a tad bit more space in the middle, letting this whole place breathe just a little bit more while still maintaining that structural soundness of it all. But then we're still down here, meaning we need to go up. Let's start this by exchanging this lower floor portion, because I do not know in what regard it will actually affect stuff if we actually start building and then all of a sudden remove stuff. Like, will stuff break down or not? No clue, but let's just fill this up with some hardwood planks, and then let's say we want to go up. Now, what would be a great height to go up, that if you have everything going on over here with the guard entrance? I would say 1, 2, 3. If we go with 3.5, I would say it could work nicely without being too cramped at the lower floor right here. For the secondary floor, we are dealing with this crossbeam, so we will have to go beyond that, meaning we're gonna have to go a little bit higher. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we could go 4.5 again. It will keep this open, keep the crossbeam section feeling alive, and I should definitely not jump over it like that. There we go. Everything will be fine. We can play around with the thickness of some of these in a little bit as well if we want to. Like, right now, it will work, but we definitely need you to be up a little bit higher. And slowly but surely we're reaching the top, meaning we can go even further up. But we could definitely still have a little bit of room over here as well. So 1, 2. If we do it like that, oh, that's a little bit too high. We could have another little bit of a room over here, maybe some sleeping quarters or something. Let the imagination flow. And then as we get up here, I would say I want the ceiling to be right on this level, meaning this will definitely be the most cramped space of them all. Maybe for some weaponry, if required, some extra arrows required if enemy troops are attacking or something along those lines. But I'm not exactly feeling these beams right here, right now. What I think we want is a little bit of dark wood like this. All the way around. Safe and sound, giving us the perfect floor level as well, with a little bit of darkness to it. Filling up the full floor with a little bit of dark wood, but maybe it's a little bit too monotonous. What if instead we just play around a little bit and bring back one of the crossbeams, pushing it out right here on all sides. And that, if we pick up the stuff that fell down, will give us all that we need in order to fill this all nicely back up. Are we happy with how this is looking? It's a bit too flat, so we can change that as well. At least in these corners. Turning these from full blocks just into upside down slabs. As a result, it is feeling cramped up here, but still with a little bit of headspace. Yeah, that will work. For the next part, we need to be looking at a little bit of a rampart situation up here. And I'm feeling, yeah, this right here, right now, it's enough walking space, but if we already place a wall right over here, it's going to limit things quite a bit. So how about we expand just ever so slightly by using this little trick over here. By using these rooftops like this, we can go all the way around. And as a result, if you look at this from all the way at the bottom, you'll be able to see that it adds just a little bit extra to it. But if we're going to build on top of that, we might need a little bit more structure underneath it. And I am thinking if we add an upside down stairs there, full block there, upside down stairs there, full block there, and then if we sneak a bit to the sides, just like that, without falling. Perfect. And from there we can expand even further by doing this. Whoop. Filling that up. It never goes fully according to plan now, does it? But doing it like this, everything matches up all nicely with the roof that we just placed. We might want to turn that one around a little bit. Yeah, we're switching those around. All of these dark oak stairs, slowly switching them out. I think actually I even want to have just one oak dark stairs over here instead of the two, and have the other perhaps be a full block. Maybe that will look better as well. So when we place them down, we will make sure that the open portion is right over there, so it feels a little bit more sturdy, like that. And by then filling the remaining spots with full blocks instead, well, what I kind of hope is that this, if I actually place it correctly, will look rather decent from down below. It will be a tiny detail, and of course I needed that singular piece, of course. But the hope is that this, you'll barely be able to see it, but it gives just that little bit of extra texture right to the underside of it. I like it. Oh, you know what will make this even better if this works the way that I have it in mind? If right under here we add these tavern shelves, this should hopefully turn this upper block into a full block. Yeah, that will work even better. Perfect. Let's copy that to all the other sides as well. Yeah, from the underside, that is definitely looking good. The upper area, however, can certainly use a little bit of work still. Which means, first things first, I definitely want to fill up these holes right over here, which will right be at the entrance of it all. Now as for these other parts, I think we can get started on slowly constructing the ramparts. A little bit of defense here and there. Just blocks all around should hopefully work out nicely. And I guess from down below you'll be able to see this, but it won't exactly do all that much for up here, instead of only giving us some extra space to work with. So if we do cobblestone stairs on all these sides, and then we can have you and you over here with another stairs, that will slowly give us the space that we want. Yeah, look at that. That will work, that will work, that will work. And then if we add some some cobblestone walls from all of these sides, at least, that will look pretty good. And if we add them over here as well, that will theoretically give archers enough space to shoot through. Yeah, this will do very nicely. And as for our test looking down from below, it's absolutely missing something on the corners. But that might very well work with the obvious next step. It's time to start on the roof. But in order to make that roof, we're going to need a little bit of redwood logs because, yeah, the idea that normal redwood trees are no longer producing redwood logs, it kind of ruined this entire thing as of right now. So, yeah, I'm going to need to grow a few trees. And at the same time, chop our current haul down. It is obviously a good thing that we had that single maple tree planted as a showcase of the tree farm, because it at least means we can continue our work. And likewise, we've got a whole lot more sticks to put inside of the forge to keep on continuing smelting our ore. Ah, look at that, the sun rising on our guard tower, love it. But in order to support our roof up here, we will definitely need those supports. So I'm thinking if we add 2 of you, every side right there at the end, I think that could work out nicely. Yeah, and then we'll have the roof on this side of the field. Now I will say that these kind of roof things, they make designing these roofs quite a lot easier than if you were completely limited to just using slabs and stairs. So in that regard, big plus for Hytale. But it still takes some time in order to try and make something that at least looks a little bit decent, or at least what you're trying to make it look decent. So what I'm thinking is if we do it like this, make sure that we don't fall, the roofs will curve just like that, and we'll go all the way around, at least for the start. And just like that, first layer in. Wonderful. Right, almost to the second. And seeing how I don't want to make this spire basically be a straight line upwards, let's add a little bit of a curve to it all. Just by doing it like this, adding it like that, and I'm thinking if I can use one of these as a borrow block for a moment, we make that too high upwards. Just like that. And just like that, curving nicely around, and joining very nicely. And I'm not yet sure what I want to do here on the inside, so I'll return to that a little bit later. First up, continuing, going up. And that means one more portion of just directly going up like this, which will bring it very nice to a single point. Oh, keep it straight, there we go. And then from here, all we need is, I'm gonna say oak logs, just that we have it like that. Just a tiny bit of a spire sticking out, and then on top of that, 2 pieces of stick. And if we now go all the way down without horribly dying in the meantime, which is, truth be told, getting a little bit more difficult, I'll just climb the ladder down, that is safer. We do our test from down below, how does it look? It requires a little bit more extra details on the side. But yeah, that is brilliant. Now as for up here, I do feel like this is just a little bit too flat. So how about we mix that up with a little bit of redwood slabs? And I'm thinking if we put them right over here, theoretically we can still jump out by just crouching, but from the outside that will also add a little bit on the defense. It will add for the dryness of the guards themselves. Yeah, that for sure will do. As for what's going on up here, and you there, remove these 2 support blocks. We can definitely play around here a little bit, and I'm gonna have to grab some supplies. Be right back. Let's see, builder's workbench. I am thinking I definitely want 3 or 4 for you. And I'm thinking some rope. 10 of each. 10 of each will do. 10 of each will do. I for sure know that I want a lantern here, so if I put you up there, 1, 2, 3 will do. 3 will do. And we can add you on there. Perfect. And I'm thinking, does this... If I put you here... That connects it. That connects it. Yes. Okay. Doing it like that will work perfectly. Adding a little bit more structure to the upper side. And can we do something with this as well? Okay, that doesn't connect. But it adds just that little bit of detail on the inside. Sure, no one on the outside will ever see this, and likewise will we very rarely be up here, I'm guessing. But still, just a little bit of detail. It adds so much. Oh yeah. That leaves us with only 3 more things to do, I'm guessing. First being most definitely a front door. Second, decorating. And third, interior. And for the decorating... there might need to be a little bit more going on all the way at the top. Now this is going to be bloody precarious. But if we add you over here on the main blocks that we got going on. From the outside, that will just add that little splash. Just makes it look a little bit different from what we've got going on right now. Adding a little bit of contrast to the entire thing. I think this will work. Let's see, how does that look? Oh yeah, that is perfect. Alright, so next up, we have the wooden softwood situation going on up above. Which I believe we can do the same trick that we use on our barn all the way over here. By using crude ladders, we can add just a little bit of texture to the side of it all. Make it less flat. Yeah. If we're going to add a little bit of variance in regards to the blocks that we've got going on, it will be a complete thing based on feelings of whatever feels right at the time. So... let's start focusing on the door here first. I know that I want to have a little bit more spaces, so we remove those. And we do it like that, adding a little bit of extra space and just like that. Now we can slowly start exchanging a few of these bricks for the mossy variant, adding a little bit of that lived-in feeling to it all. At least... that would be the grand hope of it, at least. So just left, right, and center. Just a few, not too many, because the moment you start adding way too much of these, it will definitely start to look too detailed. And by adding them onto the corner here, we can actually enjoy the green on 2 sides. That will work. And that will hopefully do nicely. Yeah, it's not too much, it's just perfect. Alright, let's add some crude ladders on top of the softwood section. And again, this is something that completely goes by feeling, although we might be able to get away with adding a few more than we normally would. Just because it blends in just a little bit extra. And I think the main philosophy we want to go with here is that we sort of add 1 ladder on each row separately at least. That way, even from a distance, it won't look all that much. But just enough to give it a tad bit more detail. That I'm very much okay with. And with that, I would say we are nearly done. Still interior left to do, but there's something missing still, and with the idea that this is going to be a future marketplace situation, well, we could do something right over here. If we go into our builds right over here, if calculations are correct, this should allow for a nice little entrance without having to bump our head. All we then have to do is on this height add a little bit of a platform that we can make use of. Just like that, slow and steady. And I'm thinking we have these also made from dark wood, the tavern platforms. These, if placed on the very same height, Oh, not like that, not like that. You are moving the wrong way. Thank you very much. There we go. Or do we want to have them like that? There are options. I think that might actually work better. Underneath like here, wonderful, giving us a nice structure. And then up here, easy wandering. Let's add this tavern door right there with the yellow being a little bit of, maybe there's light inside of there. So I would like to have it the other way around. Like that. Much better. Alright, as for the next part, I'm certainly thinking of a little balcony here. Like, have the guards be able to look all over the marketplace here. Yeah, that will work. As for the rest, they're gonna need a little bit of a roof. And if we do it like this, we have the logs connecting the chains to keep that up. It does start to look a little bit like a face, but what are you gonna do about it? And also, I do know I'm probably gonna have to wait till daytime because, yeah, dark wood, darkness. We need light. And the fun thing about this little balcony is the fact that it can theoretically be placed on every single side. Either on this side, here, the other side would also theoretically work. Maybe a little bit more cramped, but we don't technically need it there. But theoretically, doesn't matter where your entrance is, this will fit right above it. So, with ease, we make it work. Now, I know for a fact that these blocks are going to look a little bit weird, so if we add these on top, it would look a little bit more flat, perhaps, or less flat. Do it like that. Have a U on the side. Can I scoot along the side a little bit here? Wonderful. I'm thinking if we do U here and then... yeah, that connects. That connects just the way that I want it. And a little bit to the right. Same story. You there. You there. And then I am thinking... could we connect these up? Yes, we could. Yes, we could. You over there. Making this fit properly is going to be a bit more tricky. Like, I can do this. But is it all going to fit the way that I have it in mind? Because the connection here is absolutely going to be weird. So we remove this staircase. And this is kind of what I figured might happen. We remove these two slabs here and instead turn those into stairs. That way it will connect nicely and no gaps, nothing wrong, everything connected. That, I believe, is what we're after. Right, let's remove this structure and have a good proper view. Oh yeah, it looks definitely a little bit like a face, a little bit grumpy, and especially now with those shelves it kind of looks like eyebrows. It has its charm, I kind of like it. Yeah, that will do nicely. And then by just entering the front door with ease, add a little bit of a lantern here to make sure that there's a little bit of light, which also shines through these slabs right here. So even when it is dark, there's still a little bit of light thanks to that. And up here, a door with ease. Proper view of the marketplace. Yeah, this will work. This will absolutely work. Now all I need to do is the final step. Figure out what I want to do here on the inside. Alright, and for the final step, decorating, the one thing I'm quite horrible at, compared to all the other stuff I'm not all that great at, I tried my best with the stuff that I had on hand, including some of the bookshelves that we picked up, which honestly kind of fits with these bookshelves. So I made it a little bit more cramped over here, but it will work. It adds to that feel. One of the candles over here, and the bookcase there, just to have at least something here. To imagine what the guards may be doing when they're not on guard duty. or just when they're waiting for trouble to come knocking and whatnot. It works just fine. And up here, I don't know why I put the chain here, maybe for people to hold on to when they try to climb out of the chair because they've been standing for a long time or something. I'm not too sure, but it's a little bit. And from here, you can truly look out in every single direction in a wonderful way. And if you truly are a daredevil, you can even climb outside. And not advised for the guards, but if they fall to their doom, that is their own fault anyway. But yeah, that thus is our guard tower. From the sides it looks great, and over here in the future we can add a little bit like a training ground. We've got the archery dummies and whatnot, so this will be the perfect spot for that. I will have to think about what I would want to do with that in regards to cornering it off, maybe with some fences, but that's all dependent on what I want to do with the marketplace itself. Might happen off camera, but only time will tell. But the one thing I truly am interested right now for this final bit. How does this look when you enter our town? Oh yeah, that is exactly the feeling I was trying to go for here. It stands out with the blue roof, which we technically could change into a different color if required. Like, we can make a second guard tower somewhere and then give that a red roof, for example. But that, in comparison to the barn house we had going on over here and the animal barn itself, yeah, I am very happy with how this guard tower turned out. But with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. I am going to continue finishing off smelting all of the ore that we gathered, and yeah. If those outlanders come knocking, if the void creatures come knocking, we have upped our guards. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a very nice day, and as always, remember, have fun.
The true MVP of this build and previous ones have got to be the vertical slabs and those amazing connecting roof blocks. Without those, these builds would have looked a lot worse, and in no way could we have made our imagination become reality.